Evaluation and discussion. Lombroso's contribution to criminology. Despite the criticism his work receives today, many scholars acknowledge that Lombroso helped move the study of crime toward a more scientific direction. Before his ideas, criminal behavior was often seen as a moral failing or a deliberate choice. Lombroso challenged this by proposing that both biology and environment could shape offending. His attempt to analyze offenders systematically, collecting observations, measurements, and data, played an important role in establishing criminology as a field of study. Although many of his conclusions are now outdated, his emphasis on empirical research left a lasting mark on the discipline. Methodological weaknesses. A major problem with Lombroso's work is the lack of suitable control groups. He studied large numbers of offenders but rarely compared them with non-offenders in a meaningful way. As a result, it is difficult to know whether the characteristics he identified were unique to criminals or simply common in the wider population. Later research using appropriate comparison groups found very few differences. This undermines the validity of his original claims. Gender bias. Lombroso's explanations reflect the attitudes of his era. He believed women were biologically less evolved than men and therefore less capable of committing crime. He suggested that women who did offend were excessively masculine in appearance and personality. These views were based more on 19th-century stereotypes than on evidence. Modern research does not support his assumptions, highlighting that his theories were limited by cultural and gender biases. Somatotypes, limited support. Other early theorists, such as Kretschmer, argued that body shape was linked to criminality. Some small studies seem to show differences between offenders and non-offenders, but these findings were inconsistent and did not stand up to later, more rigorous research. There is no reliable evidence that a person's body type can determine whether they will engage in crime. The idea is now viewed as an interesting but flawed historical approach rather than a credible scientific explanation. Personality and criminal behavior. More sophisticated approaches link personality traits to offending in a way that does not rely on outdated biological ideas. Modern theories, such as Eysenck's, propose that certain personality patterns, shaped by both genetic and environmental influences, may increase the likelihood of offending. These explanations acknowledge that traits interact with experiences, opportunities, and upbringing. They do not claim, as Lombroso sometimes did, that criminality can be identified solely from physical features. Even so, Lombroso's early attempt to connect individual characteristics with criminal behavior encouraged later research and helped expand criminology as a science.